Hey y'all, and welcome back to Life Captures of Ari. So, if you cannot already tell, y'all, this is going to be a military question and answer video. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. So, down through the years, out of almost my 6 years of being in, I've got a lot of questions concerning the military. So, I did some research along with the questions that I've gotten and put those together just to kind of give a brief answer to some of those. So I have them here on my iPad. So let's get into it. All right. So when did I enlist? So again, I'm coming up on 6 years, April 11th, 2017. So, but I took the oath in January 11th, 2017. So about 3 months apart from when I actually shipped off to basic training. Next question. So if you enlisted, what were some of the reasons that you joined? So I personally joined for college, of course. I joined to travel and just to make a better life for myself. So those are some of the reasons why I've joined. And to be honest, I have been able to reach and maintain all of those. So how did you choose your branch of service? So for those that know, I was in JROTC in high school. My last year in high school, it was Air Force ROTC to be exact. Before my last year of high school, I already knew I wanted to go to the military. I was set on going to the Navy, and I didn't have any particular reason why. The Navy just, came up. Actually, I did know someone that was in the Navy at the time that I thought about joining that was actually in basic training. So at the time, I only knew one person that was in the military. So I was like, okay, I want to go in the military, but let me go in the Navy due to this one particular person. After doing some research and finding out exactly what the Navy does, again, when you think of the Navy, you think of water. So I wasn't too familiar with being in the water all the time, which altered my decision to go into the Air Force. So again, once I got into ROTC, I knew what the Air Force did. I feel like that really fit my personality more. So that's how I ended up joining the Air Force. What do you remember about the day you enlisted? So y'all, I was nervous. Of course, that is the natural feeling to be nervous because again, all this time you think you know what you signed up for until you actually get there, and it's just like reality sets in. So I was nervous, but I felt like I had accomplished one of the biggest goals that I had set for myself at the time being. It took me a while to get in simply because I had to be in height and weight standards, and then there were other personal things that were holding me back. But on that day, I don't know, it's honestly kind of like a blur, y'all. But on that day, I remember my sister being with me and coming to the airport to see me off. And at the time, we were, and still are, close. So we had never been apart from each other. So that was the biggest thing for us, just being apart from one another. But yeah. Next question. What was basic training like? So basic training wasn't what I expected. I didn't really watch YouTube videos like a lot of people do. I just kind of wanted to go in blindsided and not have an insight on how basic training was. Because I feel like when you look at videos and things like that, it kind of psych you out on not, going. So I didn't want to get that feeling. So I decided not to watch any YouTube videos or things like that. And when people would give me inputs about it, it was kind of like, hey, this is what to expect, but they never really went deep into detail, which I'm like extremely happy about. I did know the most important information to help sustain during that time, but basic training my experience was very good. You're in a dorm with like 50 other people. So the first couple of weeks, it takes some time just to get to know everybody because you're mixing different personalities. But as the time go on, you start depending on those people because that is the whole mentality of basic training, to depend on people that you don't know to get you through the 8 weeks or 10 weeks or however long your basic training may be. So, and I went to basic training when I was 20, I believe. So, and if you ever decide to, or most likely, there's a lot of people that go in that are almost around the same age as you. You have ones and twosies that are like probably in their 30s, but most likely 90% of the people that you go in basic training with will be around the same age group as you. So, but yeah. All right. How did you stay in touch with family and friends back home? So, when you're in basic training, you do get the opportunity to write letters to your family and friends. And the Air Force in particular, we did get 3 phone calls. One when we first got there. The second one was in the middle of basic training, and then the last one was like a week before like you graduated. So, excuse me, I know different branches have different regulations for phones, but we were not able to keep our phones. The moment that we got settled, our phones were taken away from us. So that's how you keep in contact. I wrote letters all throughout basic training when we were in class settings. Anytime that I got to write a letter, I definitely did. As you go on throughout basic training, you'll get more free time, so you're able to kind of do things as such. Next question. What has been difficult to communicate to family and friends about your military service? I can say the most difficult thing would be just explaining to family and friends how leadership works. The leadership and dynamic of the military is definitely different from the civilian world. Everything or every decision has to be channeled up chain of command. So I think that was the biggest adjustment for me, just knowing that I am not in the ultimate control of the decisions that I make. It has to be channeled up. And so that could be a huge adjustment where you're kind of used to that, you know, it's me, it's my life, I'm in control of it mindset. But again, it's definitely not a bad thing, but it definitely can be a adjustment if you're, you know, kind of stuck in that mindset. So, and the last question, did any of your military friends play pranks on each other? Can you describe a funny one? So we didn't necessarily play pranks in basic training because, again, that's a more structured environment. So playing pranks doesn't, in my defense, you know, in my opinion, playing pranks don't really cross your mind, because your mindset in basic training is kind of like fight to win. You know, you're fighting to cross that threshold to graduate. But when you get to your base, it's really more relaxed and more chilled. So one of the pranks we did play at my base is we have military ID cards, and there is a barcode on your military ID card. Disclaimer, anybody in the military, anybody think about it, don't try this. But so there's a barcode on your military ID card. So whenever you put it in or insert it into your computer, it reads that barcode and lets the computer know that it's you. So what we used to do is put tape on that barcode. So whenever you do insert the military ID card in your computer, it'll read as if it's not you or something is wrong with your military ID. And if you know, you know. Nobody likes to know that something is wrong with their military ID, because that resort in you having to go get a new military ID card. And nobody likes to do that, y'all. So that's one of the only prank that I have ever participated in. But y'all, that was it. I hope you guys kind of got a glimpse of basic training and how things are as such. Again, the Air Force is, you know, I won't say it's great, but it's good. It has treated me well. So, but yeah, y'all, that was it. That was all for now. And if you have a particular question that you would like for me to answer, please feel free, again, to comment below, and I would definitely answer that. But until next time, y'all, bye.